Welcome
to another episode
of Driving to the Res
with Larry and
Inelia.
Yay! And for you who have been spoiled with no car sounds, sorry.
No jigglings. Yeah, sorry, we're driving.
We're driving
to the Res.
To the Res. Yes, we're driving to the Res. We decided to go ahead and record it during our trip because we are running out of time. We have so much to do and we're having great conversations in the car and they're getting recorded.
Yeah.
So we had a couple of really fascinating, interesting topics to talk about today. Larry, did you want to start explaining?
Well, I had hoped to introduce the whole concept of aeolian air harps. Remember that?
Is that what it's called?
Aeolian? Yeah, aeolian.
Aeolian?
Air harps.
Air harps. Okay.
Yeah, you're using sacred geometries and you're using octaves that are tuned to 432, whatever that, 432s. For I think one of the notes, I think C is 432 or A is 432. One of those notes is set at 432 instead of 440.
Isn't it G?
That could be G.
I don't remember.
We're
really good at doing podcasts about stuff that we don't know about.
Yeah. So
however, the big part of it is.
At the 432, he tuned his instrument to 432.
And him being who?
I was looking it up. It was on Dr. Cowen's podcast that I shared.
Yeah, Dr. Cowen has a podcast.
Yeah, he does interesting. He's like us. He goes around this planet and all of a sudden he finds this fascinating person and he'd like to talk to them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what they do.
Doesn't matter what they do. But usually they're interested in some way. It complements what he's interested in. In this case, the aeolian air harps tuned at 432 were emitting a harmonic of a body harmonic and some kind of a 7. Oh my gosh, it was so complicated. Opie come in while I was watching it, and he said, I just can't listen to all that gibber-gush anymore. I just got to hear it. And he said,
what interested you about it, though? I know it's so complicated and technical.
Well, what's interesting is I'm reading his book, The Contagion Myth.
Contagion Myth, right.
Contagion Myth. And what I'm finding fascinating is the whole underlying foundational reality that we have all grown up with, which is that viruses and bacteria and these things are pathogens that cause us to get sick. And cleaning up the environment, cleaning up all of the bacteria and the viruses will make us healthy. And getting rid of the bacteria and the viruses in the water with chlorine and fluoride and whatever else they put in it, that's going to keep us from getting sick. Things like that, right? Mm-hmm. And there's obviously a problem if you're drinking sewage. I mean, you're probably going to get sick, but that's because there's toxins in it anyway. When you read the book, it opens up a whole new avenue of thought, such as what's important is cholesterol and animal fats have vitamin A, D, and K2 in it because your cell walls are made out of fat lipids, and the water that's right next to them is structured, and that structured water has I believe a positive charge, and the regular unstructured has a negative charge, so your cell wall is made up of a little bit of fat and a little bit of structured water. And
the structured water is a little bit like gel, right?
Right, it's like a jello. And your body functions at a vibrational frequency, and that frequency, like when we were playing with the somatics, depending on the frequency that's going in it, the water gets unstructured or more structured. In other words, it supports it or it dissolves the jello. When the jello's dissolved and the fats aren't there, then you get sick. Well, you get sick because your body isn't functioning properly. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we don't usually think of how good is my jello today, right? Is my jello holding together good? And we don't really think about oh, this vegetable oil that I'm eating is actually doesn't contribute to my cell walls. It makes my cells have to be acidic or something like that. So maybe I shouldn't eat that vegetable oil, even though it says vegetable oil. It sounds like a good oil, right?
Not to me, it never has.
Well, if you're taught that if you're taught that vegetables are good for you, then you think vegetable oil is good for you.
Okay.
But
well, I always thought the vegetables were good
that's-
for me, but I was never taught that vegetable oil was good for me. That's true.
Well, we're definitely taught that lard is bad for you. Anyway,
Yes,
as we look at how our bodies are a symphony of things, we are more viruses and bacteria than we are other stuff, right?
Yes.
So to keep the viruses out, it would make us, you would die. You wouldn't exist.
Pretty
And your
much.
bacteria in your stomach and your skin and your whole body, it's all a living system.
Yeah.
And it's designed to operate optimally with support, but it will function anyway without support. Although, with challenges, right? I mean, we've probably all of us at some point or another had what we wouldn't call a very healthy lifestyle: drinking, smoking, staying up late, not sleeping, drinking diet soda pop, whatever.
Yeah.
Not things that we even know, this is probably not the most supportive thing, but it tastes good, we're going to do it anyway, or whatever, right?
Yeah. Let's do it anyway.
Yeah, and you eat vegetable oils, and you don't know the difference, but your body does at a cellular level, but it still compensates, because bodies are super adaptable, right?
Yes, they are very. Give them a tiny little chance and they'll heal,
Right. So as I'm reading that book and being exposed to some of the ideas of the way the systems are put together and in another way of looking at them, things like you go to the doctor and the doctor asks you how much clean, structured water you're getting. And when you say clean, it doesn't mean empty of all life. It means full of life and structure and oxygenated and swirled and having the fourth phase of water in it. How much of good supportive water are you getting? Never once has a doctor asked me that.
No.
How much, I guess, whatever,
think once-
Aeolian air harp?
Oh.
How much frequency are you getting? And
What are your frequencies like at home?
what frequencies
What
are
are you
you
listening to?
What frequencies are coming in? Do you have any EMFs? Are they discordant? Have you checked the frequencies entering your body? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Are you getting enough fat in your diet?
Yes.
Well, what kind of
Actually-
fat? Is this the kind of fat from a animal
A
that
happy
lives
nest
in a happy space with good
No,
grass?
not that. No,
or is this
really
one of
nasty,
those
that.
other kind of fats the animals I get are eating preservatives? Because that fat isn't so good for you.
No, it's not.
Your body will still use it, but it's not as supportive as it could be. I mean, questions like that, right?
It's not very common, that's for sure.
Right, but that's
I think more and more people nowadays are starting to get it, that it's all about frequencies and vibrations.
right.
It's all
But I
about
never
energy.
considered Jello water. I mean,
I didn't
here's
know
the
about
reason
that
that
phase
it
of water,
struck
yeah.
me. This is what struck me.
Okay.
Is when I'm reading the book. This is after. We got that pretty carafe that swirls the water and it oxygenates it and it structures it.
Yes, we got one of those.
Has a little magnet drive on the very bottom and has a little ceramic fins inside of it, and it swirls the water in a vortex and it makes a little whirlpool in it. And the water sits there and it touches the bottom and sucks in a little oxygen, and it's swirling and swirling and swirling.
Moving.
And that vortex aligns the atoms in the water, and it's a science. And if you want to read the physics about it, there is a book. I guess I could put it in the link that you can read about all of the physics of science and the fourth phase of water and the Jello phase and the lined up phase. It's a little bit like ice, but just different, more
And this is not
organized.
information, right? This is not new information.
No, this has been available, the data, for quite a while, 20, 30 years, I think. It's not a new book or a new thought or even a new state of water. It's been around. It's just not very common language, I suppose.
Right, yeah.
And its importance. So why that I found it to be important? I got the little watercraft. I wanted to experiment with the water because it looked cool. Really,
And
it
beautiful.
mostly looked cool. It was pretty, it looked
It's
cool.
beautiful, yeah.
And I like whirlpool, so it was a thing to try it. the reasons, the structure part of it and all that, I mean, I was not against it, but I didn't buy it because I need structured water in my life. I found that to be true later because I drank that water for 2 days. And I didn't drink a gallon of it. I just had 4 cups because I thought it was pretty cool. And
you used it in your coffee too, right?
Right, and the water tasted silky, right? Remember?
Yeah, we did do
Blind
tests.
With quite a few people.
Yes, and everybody detected it. Everybody knew which glass had it.
Everyone knew one was different, and one was...
They tasted the same, but one of them felt silky, and the other one felt more like rough.
And that's exactly the 2 states of the water. One's the silky jello. It's not like jello like you're eating jello, but it is structured in jello-like. But it's not like you could perceive it as being jello, but you perceive it as silky. And the other one is a little bit, what did you say, rough?
Rough, yeah.
All right, that's the other state. Now the silky state of the water, the structured state of the water, doesn't have any minerals in it.
How does it get rid of the minerals?
Because the oxygens and the hydrogens are lined up in a structure. The structure doesn't allow anything else to be there.
So where does the minerals go after
they go into the rough water? It's not all silky water. It's some silky and some rough. Yeah.
When you make it silky in that little machine we got.
Not all of it is silky. It just has a lot higher proportion of silky.
So where does the minerals go that it went in with?
Into the not silky water.
I don't understand.
The jello water doesn't have minerals in it. The minerals don't have a place to be because they're all of the space is taken up by the hydrogen oxygen atoms.
So the container has both?
Yes.
Okay.
But it has a higher proportion of structured water.
So the minerals are concentrated on the non-structured water in the container?
Right, exactly.
Okay, but at least we get some water, or if not the majority of water, which is the good stuff.
Well, the whole point is that your cells have that, and if they get it and it's already like that, it's less steps for them to do, and it's available for them to do whatever they do. So like the cartilage in your knee, the cartilages in your bone is made up of structured water type stuff. So drinking it, I guess it went right to it because my knee's been I've been crippled. If I walk more than a mile, I'm crippled. If I run, I'm crippled. If I hit my leg on something, I'm crippled. And I've been looking at, why would I have this? Why would I cave this? Why would I have this? I've been looking at all the whys of it. I couldn't never find a real good one that I was happy with. But 2 days of drinking that structured water and my knee is fixed.
That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I didn't get the water to fix my knee, but I noticed it after 2 days. All of a sudden, my knee stopped hurting. I haven't banged it on anything and gone, ooh, wow. Remember that?
Oh, all the time, yeah.
I'd be crying. Yeah, it went away. And as I had that experience, then I read in a little bit more about the structure part of water. When I read about the structure part of water, I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. Everybody should know about that. And then I started to read the rest of our book, our Dr. Cowen book about the contagion. And he talks quite a bit about the water. So it's kind of like I had the experience and then the data followed. The data that supported why that actually happened.
Explained it.
Yeah, and so, there's a whole bunch of your body that needs that structured water because your body's, as Dr. Cowen said in his thing, your water's like 75%, your body's 75% water, right? And you cut your body, water doesn't squirt out.
Blood does, though.
Some blood, but not 75% of your body is blood.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
All the water in your body is structured water. Anyway, the air harp is part of what structures water because EMFs and strange frequencies of things disorganize the water, make it harsh water. So your water that should be separating your cell from everything else, oxygen cells, blood cells, these kind of cells, when they're exposed to frequencies outside of what they should be, I guess, or they're used to, or just harsh frequencies,
disharmony,
I suppose.
yeah,
Disharmony.
out of tune.
Like even nasty metal rock that makes those little ice crystals in the Yamamoto's ice crystals harsh, It's that kind of a thing. That affects your body at a physical level.
It does, yeah.
So having silky water and Aeolian air harp frequencies, harmonics, and good fats, animal fats. All these things make for your body to be more robust and stronger and more resilient. Even though they are strong and resilient without it, it's like supporting them.
It's even better, stronger and healthier.
Better, stronger, healthier, and your knee don't hurt either.
And your knee gets better.
What do you think about all that?
I really like it, and it totally gives evidence to the fact that we are all energy frequencies and vibrations.
Yeah.
And that's perfect, a perfect example of it. I was talking to somebody very recently, and they were looking at the environment, being one with the environment, and how we can so often, I was explaining that I often become overwhelmed with things, and it could be one thing, it's like, oh my gosh, I've got too much work to do, and I get overwhelmed. Or there's too much dust in the room. It doesn't matter what it is, but suddenly it's like the straw that broke the camel's back, and I'm overwhelmed. I feel that overwhelmed feeling.
Right.
And then what I do is I look around and think, okay, well, what is there here that is too much dissonance to me personally that might have added to the stress, because overwhelm is just a level of stress. So I look and think, oh, I'm looking at a bunch of clutter. Oh, that's what's causing some of that stress. Oh, and the house smells bad. Oh, that's another factor, right? Oh, the noises that I can hear are really sharp and horrible. Oh, that's another one. So they start adding up. And yeah, I put too much work on my plate for today, or, I didn't eat the right foods, or I ate things I'm allergic to. And then these things are adding up and adding up and adding up. And eventually I get that level of stress that says I'm overwhelmed and I just want to stop or whatever. So it's just too much stress.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of that, the frequency of sound, the frequency that objects create in your environment, the frequency of smell, because, that's another form of communication.
Totally.
And the individual and what you personally like and dislike in life and things, all these affect you, and then affect your emotional body, affect your physical body, affect your mental body, because you are part of your environment. So to have that, it's like, yeah, that proves it, It's like this guy makes these beautiful harps, puts them all over his yard, calls it a soundscape.
Yep.
And gets
when
in
the
there
wind blows,
yeah.
said it never blows the same twice, and the harps never sound the same twice, and every time that he's walking in
it's unique.
It's unique, and he stops. And he said anything that can get him to stop and come right here, as you would call it, where are you, when are you?
Yeah.
In his words, he says, makes me come here now. And when he's here now, and he can enjoy that sound and that bliss and that harmony and that harmonic, and just get into the zone, or get out of his mind into his heart. I mean, he was a pretty cool dude.
Yep. Yeah, it's really cool. I think he did also link it, didn't he, with the shape of the heart or something.
Oh yeah, there was something about the shape of the heart that was different, though. The Aeolian air harps had various geometries attached to them. Some of them were like our portal, two pyramids, one up, one down, base to base. Mm-hmm. And some of them were, different sacred geometries. And the sacred geometry that he was experimenting with the latest one, had to do with the human heart. And that's kind of what caught Dr. Cowen's attention, because he's wrote a book, Human Heart, Cosmic Heart.
Oh yeah, we read that years ago.
Right. That was the funniest thing. My dad actually gave it to me, and I usually have a hard time reading my books that my dad gives me, because generally speaking,
You don't read the same books, huh?
we don't read the same stuff. But I went ahead and read this one, and I got about, I don't know, a page or two into it. I was like,
whoa,
holy
I
crap.
remember you said that, yeah.
This book's amazing.
And you said, what did you think about the book, Dad? He says, what book?
What book? I never read it. He didn't read it. He just gave it to me because I was asking about art books or something. He'd had a heart attack. Anyway, it was Dr. Cowen's book, cosmic art book, and it had to do with the heart not being a pump. And that was actually something that this harp fellow was talking about. In this 7-chambered heart isn't a pump, it was a receiver, not an expressor. I think something like that. Imploder, not exploder.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
7 muscles and 7 equally sized hedrons or something. It had some sacred geometry to it. And that sacred geometry, he made a good case. If you're curious, I mean, he can do it much more justice than me, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And that podcast, I'm pretty sure we can either put the link in the notes or you can just look for Dr. Cowen's podcast. It's number 14, I think.
Dr. Cowen's podcast, man.
Number 14, you'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
Aeolian air harps. He has video version too, and the video version shows you the harps.
Oh, lovely.
And shows them playing, and the gongs and things like that. But it had to do with the frequency. The heart was geometrically emitting to the body, was the frequency that he was putting in his air harp, because he mimicked the same geometry.
Yes,
that was the basic point. Was that harmonic and geometry would support your heart tremendously.
Yes.
Like structured water would.
The other thing about the physical body elemental is that it is full of these beautiful structures and the things that match together very beautifully in a physical body elemental.
Well, there is a geometry to bodies anyway.
Yeah, there is. It totally is.
And they're unique to bodies too, each body. I think I remember in altered states finding or seeing all of these geometries that describe the universe and the pieces and the parts and the bits and the bobs in it, you know? So instead of a language of words, it was a language of sacred geometries, angles, and these odd looking shapes, which were probably 5th dimensional, 6th dimensional, who knows how many dimensional polygonal shapes that were being represented in 3-dimensional brain, because my brain can only conceive in 3D, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So our imagery was in a 3D, but it was represented in a 5 or a 6 or a 9D formative geometry that was attached to a sound, and the sound created the geometry. So that's kind of what he was talking about with these harps, is that's what he wanted to be able to create here.
I think, create a resonance with it, right?
Right. Create a resonance and emit that geometry.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting.
It is pretty, that's the kind of open the language to a different conception of reality, right?
Totally.
And from that conception of reality, some of the things that you observe, you come to a different conclusion. You don't come to the conclusion that a virus got you sick, for example.
To the conclusion after reading the data, after studying the data, just saying that, it's at least like saying, oh yeah, and the sun goes around the earth. It sounds, and it is that ridiculous. It really is.
Right, but if from your birth, all you've heard and all you've been led to understand, all you've been trained is bacteria and viruses are bad for you, and that makes you sick, and here's the evidence that proves it. It proves what you already believe in. So that means, of course, the evidence will prove it.
But evidence hasn't proven.
That's exactly. It doesn't actually mean
nobody
that.
has actually proven the existence of viruses.
They've proven there's a thing.
There's something.
And they've proven it exists in some people that are sick, but that doesn't mean that.
They have eyes too. Do their eyes make them sick?
Well, do maggots make a dead animal die? Is that why they died? I mean, they do still call it a theory, so obviously that means it's not a fact, right?
Yeah.
But when you have a theory that's well accepted, they just accept it as fact
A lot of
without any
that,
test.
Yeah, they do.
And when you start examining the actual foundation for it, you say, how could that possibly be? That's what we're basing everything on. Because it's such a shallow foundation. Then you go, everything seems to be built on this little house of cards.
Yeah.
One thing led to another, and 100 years later, here we are. That's how we assume it's to be true, but we never really checked.
It is true that people get sick.
It is true people get sick.
And it is the point that you made earlier, if people eat poop, they're going to get sick, right? So a level of hygiene and the hygiene information and education and support that was spread around the world has removed a lot of childhood diseases and deaths, and a lot of people have been able to live because they are in hygienic conditions now that wouldn't have before. So that does work, but also it is to do with saturation, I think, because
Right.
I think that we live in a kind of healthy biome of viruses and bacteria and everything. But when something's off in our bodies, or there's something off in our environment, it can grab us, right? It can make us sick.
I guess the whole thing needs re-examined, basically.
Yeah.
The whole thing needs re-examined, and when you start re-examining it, it's like what we're doing in the Shamachak right now in spring cleaning, even though it's winter.
Yes.
Taking everything out, right?
And then
And we're
putting
only going to
everything-
put back the things that we actually want there.
Yeah, the resonance.
So the same thing with disease and viruses and bacterias and everything else. It's like, let's just throw it all away for a minute.
And just look at
Personally,
the evidence.
Look at stuff.
Yeah. And see.
Look
what
at as
makes
many
sense.
varied opinions and thoughts and experiments as you can tolerate.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you got to be interested in it. And then only put back, I guess, what you want, or what you truth. So if we need structured water and we haven't been getting it, because if it goes through a pipe and it goes through right angles and it goes through a treatment plant and it comes out of their treatment plant with chlorine in it, right?
Yeah, that's not going to help.
And other stuff that kills all of the life in it, and it's stagnant and stale. Well, hardly anybody drinks water out of
The faucet now?
faucet
No, it's
anymore anyways.
disgusting.
How did it go
It's
from
so gross.
that's where you get all your water to I wouldn't even dream of drinking that water?
I know.
How'd that happen?
I know. Really bad.
To make water scarce?
I guess, yeah.
Well, I
Make it
remember
expensive.
I remember a time
A bottle of water is more expensive than a bottle of gas for your car. Did you know that?
Yeah. So does bottled water have structure?
Nope.
Nope.
I don't think so.
Probably not, because they didn't do that process. But I imagine there are some structured waters
Yeah, probably, huh?
that are
But
structured
you can
on
just
purpose.
stir it with a spoon, you know? Having good thoughts, maybe singing a song and stir your cup. And
Yep, you can do
structure
that.
it.
You can do that.
It's not complicated, you don't have to buy a machine. It's just a machine that's really beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful, and it stirs it way more times than you want.
Yes, you would, yeah.
So, I suppose a lot of people have had miracle cures for this reason or that, and you know, attributing it to something that you did seems to be a normal thing too, right? But I
Like what?
didn't get the water and use it as a cure.
No, you didn't.
I
no.
didn't think about it at all.
No.
I had no attention on that being attached to the other.
Uh-huh.
It was after that I realized, oh my God, my knee don't hurt no more.
Yes.
And then, oh my Jesus, would you believe this?
Okay,
the
I
structure.
have to talk about my experience for the first few days of drinking that water.
Okay, tell me all about it.
I got very, very sick.
Oh my God.
Everything was aching and I got really, really sick. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. It was so bad. But then I carried on drinking it because it felt to me that it was more like a,
Flushing?
yeah, like it's not a, yeah, that was the best way to describe it, like flushing out the bad. When you,
To make room for the good? In a
it's more
sense.
like, I think, I've learned in the past. I used to play the classical guitar when I was a kid,
Right?
and many other instruments. And as an adult, I played the violin. And when you first get the violin or the guitar or whatever's, it's really badly out of tune usually,
Right.
unless it's a really good one that they've tuned in the factory and it stays tuned. But normally that doesn't happen. It's really badly out of tune, and when you first start tuning it up, it sounds awful. But then once you finish tuning it up, it sounds really, really good. So it felt to me like something, or the water was tuning me.
Oh,
And
I
it was
see.
in the in between parts where it was really bad. And then eventually it went through, and I probably need more, than you do, because I don't know, I guess I'm more sensitive to everything. So
Well, when your body is ejecting toxins and you were using that dandelion tea, which
Yes.
is a flushing tea,
Oh, I
it's
didn't
like,
know that.
it could, remember,
I didn't know it was a flushing tea. I was
Well,
drinking it.
it's a
because-
detox,
Yes, I was
And
drinking
part
it to
of
support my
detoxing.
liver. That's why I knew.
right? And your liver needed flushing, detoxing. And part of the
Supporting.
book, part of what he's talked about is when you do get sick and you have a fever or whatever, it basically de-jellos your water. And that's why you start flushing and you're snotty and all that other stuff is
yeah.
your jelly water coming out
Oh.
to flush the toxins.
Oh.
So anyway, it was what I was saying is that I drank some of that water and my knee got better, but I hadn't really changed anything else. I hadn't been doing anything else.
Oh, I was doing other stuff.
You were doing
you're
other
right.
stuff and you
Yeah,
drank the
I
water
was.
too, but we can't necessarily attribute that to that
Well, you
because
can,
other
but I
things
can't.
change. Well, that's what I was saying is that literally the only thing I did different on
Was
those
drink
2
the
days
water.
was drink that water, where you had detox teas and you had a liver and you've been
Yeah, but I was doing
working
that for
on that.
days. Maybe it accelerated it. Maybe it made it more effective because you're using
Maybe it made
that
it
water to
effective.
drink the tea, to make the tea with. So maybe it was more effective. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I carried on because when I tested it, I truthed it, and it felt that it was still being supportive. It wasn't that it was making me sick and it's a bad thing for me. It really felt like it was part of the healing story that I was manifesting. So I carried on drinking it, and yeah, I don't feel sick now. It's no pain or anything. So it's good. I like it, and it's silky, and it makes the tea taste really good, and it has good buzzy energy to it. It's really nice.
Cool.
My body loves it.
That's funny though. You would get sick and I would have a cure.
Yeah, you got the cure and I got sick. So we need to test 1,000 people drinking it every day. That's the only water they drink, and 1,000 people not drinking it but not knowing that they're not drinking it, and then we can compare results and
Well,
have
we
a
already
proper
have
test.
about 8 billion or so, 7 billion that don't drink it.
Yes, that's true. But
Oh.
they think no, you have to have it so that they think they're drinking it. Remember?
Well, then we'll have the placebo effect working.
Yeah. So we have to, we have to allow for the placebo effect as well. Yes.
Well, I don't think we need a scientific experiment. We need people who try it to say, yep, it worked great for me, or nope, didn't see nothing. But that's the thing. I did read the comments in the reviews.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people had effects, and they were all about healing joints and healing owies and healing pains and having a healing story. I was like, healing story? I didn't even read nothing about that in this. It was just about pretty swirly water. So
That's pretty cool. Huh?
there are a lot of people have a healing experience, and I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. Totally does.
It's like, remember when you eat pate?
A potato?
You call it pate.
The potato?
Braunschweiger, liverwurst.
Oh,
or-
pate?
Pate, yeah.
Oh, pate.
And I mean, I don't really like liver very much at all, zero. And I don't like
No,
pate,
I don't like
obviously.
liver either.
And we try to get some in because it's got good vitamins for us. It's good for us, but trying to eat it's terribly hard.
Yes.
But every now and then, you know your body wants some. And when you have that pate, it seems like you can eat it. And it's like, oh, I needed that. And then at one point or another, your body goes,
Well, you're not-
full, done, don't need no more, stop.
Yes.
That's kind of like, the water doesn't feel like you get to that done. It just feels like, hey,
Some more,
thank
some
you
more.
for bringing me some nice water. It's like nice fuel. I could really use this. Kind of feels like that.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
I know we're gushing about the water. No pun intended.
Yeah, don't believe that.
Now we need to have, that was the funniest thing too, is Dr. Cowen's interview with the boy. He said heard his story, he was listening to him talk about his harp, and he said the first thing he thought when he heard about the cosmic harp part of geometry with it, he's like, how much are they and when can I get one? These ones, I
That's
need
brilliant.
one.
Yeah. I want
I need one of those in my
life.
life. Yeah. Anyway, that's what we've been up to. Plus we
Yep.
got new floors.
Yep, the shaman shack's getting finished. Flooring's finishing. It's very good. It's very nice. Very, very nice. All right, are you complete?
No, you had
No,
another
it's
topic, remember?
I do.
Yeah, there were 2 or 3
Oh,
topics.
yeah. So in the next few days, you're going to see in my store a class called The Power of Sex and Manifestation.
Whoa, really?
Yes.
In my where?
In my store at ineliabenz.com. Go to the
Okay.
store and you're going to get it. But if you are subscribed to my newsletter at ineliabenz.com, we will send you a newsletter when the class is ready to be released and you can buy it.
What about on Telegram?
Oh yes, the Telegram, of course.
Okay.
We're moving out of Facebook and Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. And we're using Telegram. And already we have over 1,000 people subscribed. And we have about 50,000 in Facebook, but guess what? When we look at the stats on our posts in Facebook, we usually get less than 200 people that are subscribed to us, that see my posts. But in Telegram, we have over 1,000 people and 100% see my posts.
100% who want to.
Yes, that want to. And already everybody who wants to receive my posts can actually see them and receive them when I post them.
What kind of things
that's
do you
amazing.
post?
Lovely pictures with quotes, information, data, links back to my website, and some personal thoughts every now and then during the day. And lots of hearts and smileys and hellos.
I think I remember there being a magic spell.
Oh yeah, I did send the magic spell in my newsletter.
It was on Telegram too.
Yes, but the link was placed there, right?
The words.
Yes.
It was on there.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about
lots of
that magic
things.
spell.
That's
impactful. It feels still impactful.
Yes, it's very impactful. That's why it's magic. So I do warn people. Hey, I'm putting a spell on you.
Yeah, they know.
And now you're free. So yeah, that newsletter. There was one newsletter that was actually a spell for empowerment and freedom, and stepping into and embodying the new paradigm. So, yep, it was pretty cool. I think.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. I'm working on the workshop for the Instant Manifestation workshop, and that's going to be released at iBenz Academy. So if you haven't gone there yet, go and subscribe to the iBenz Academy newsletter. That's probably going to come out in about a month and a half, and it's going to be a presential workshop. You're going to be attending. We will release it on that you can download and do it yourself, but it's going to be double the price to the group one. So yeah, figure that one out.
I guess.
We want you to complete it. That's what interests us, and you're more likely to complete it if you do the class with other people at the same time with other
Absolutely.
people, and you become connected with these other individuals and do the classes with them.
Instead
You're
of
more likely to complete the workshop. Sorry, it's not a course or a class, it's a workshop. So that's why we're charging less for the workshop than we would charge for the standalone thing that you can just download and do on your own.
Because we're not lone wolves anymore.
We're no longer wolves, and what interests us again is that you do it, that you complete it. That's what interests us. So that's why we decided to price it that way.
Okay. Well,
Some people still prefer to do it on their own, so hopefully they will complete it.
well, it reminds me of your pilot. When you have a coach cheering you on.
Oh, the bike, yeah. You totally
you do it.
finish
you
it.
do it. You totally
do.
finish it. When you're being held to
And when you get
account,
high fives from other
you do it.
people,
it's
you
easier.
feel really good. and
So
you
it makes
want to
sense. It
finish.
makes sense that it would be less.
We are part of a collective. And this new class, the new class that I'm releasing in the next few days, this Your Sexual Power and Manifestation, this class talks about that part of it. The part of we are a collective species, and part of you are being human. It's not just a physical body and a soul, that's the physical aspects of it. But part of what makes you human is also the fact that you're a collective, a part of a collective species, a very highly connected and communicative species. And that is really key, both in completing your work and also in manifesting. So yeah, those are the two things. Of course, you can join me and Larry and lots and lots of cool people by joining your tribe, joining the club at walkwithmenow.com, and be part of all these type of things.
You have a lot of things going on now.
Oh yeah, So today I did a live class in Second Life as well with wealth creation, and that's going to be available for downloading on Walk With Me now if you join. I'm not actually sure if I'm going to release it publicly. Maybe I'll talk to Inelia about it, see what he thinks.
It'd probably be interesting for no other reason than I'm sure there are plenty of people curious about what Second Life class would be even like. I mean, why even do a Second Life class?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting because it seems more. It's like I equate it to like if you went to sleep and you came lucid in your dream, it would be a little bit like being in your Second Life class.
Yes.
It'd be like that. It's like a
Yeah,
pretty good estimation of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Lucid dreaming class on your computer.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, that's cool. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with Larry and me.
That was all of the things?
Yes, that's it.
You had so many irons going, that's all of it? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Let me tick them off. Yeah, talk about aeolian air harps. I mean, that's such a cool word.
I know.
Structured water, yes.
Yes.
Second Life class on wealth creation. Sex and manifesting.
Yeah.
And that comes from,
Gonna
how
be
do
a
we find
class.
out about it? We find out about it on a newsletter?
Yes,
Telegram?
Inelia.com is going to be there in the store. We're going to post it on Telegram. We're going to post it in the newsletter.
I have a feeling that might be a class people are interested in.
I think so. It's a very interesting class.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to
How
it.
to use your sexual energy for manifestation.
Okay, I can't think of anything else that I would need to think about. I'm pretty much.
That's it. Focused.
I think we did it.
All right.
I think we're complete, honey.
Okay, complete. I
Yes.
love you, darling.
I love you too, honey.